Welcome to the What's Happening podcast, where we talk about basically what's happening. So yeah, in today's episode we're going to be talking about a load of random stuff, as we do every podcast. We're going to be talking about what's happening in the news, looking at the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case, and we're also going to look at the Premier League and what happened this season. Because yesterday, well, whenever this is out, we're recording this on a Monday, but Sunday was quite dramatic.
It was wild.
So yes, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Try to enjoy.
Yep.
Yeah, depending who you support. So, what is happening in the world at the moment? Well, Russia is invading, still invading Ukraine.
I heard they called for a ceasefire recently, but Russia wanted control of like half of Ukraine.
Yeah, there's a reason they're going after like the Black Sea area, because that's a warm water port for trade and stuff.
So, right, you being the historian here, you need to explain this to me. Is
I'll
that
try.
Crimea?
So Crimea is part of it. So Russia, I think it was 2014, Russia took over Crimea.
Okay.
But nobody kind of did anything. They kind of just were like, not to compare, but yeah, Hitler did a similar sort of thing.
Oh dear.
Yeah, here we go. So
Old
it's
Nazis.
pretty much the same thing where Putin kind of says, well, this used to be our land, so we're just taking it back.
Okay.
Or there's Russian people living here, so we're just taking it back as they want us to. So, but where Crimea lies, it's in the Black Sea, I think, which is a warm water port, because otherwise Russia only has cold water ports up north.
Okay.
So Black Sea is surrounded by like oil-rich countries, so a lot of trade goes through there. So for Russia to have a big port on that stretch of water is very helpful for their own like trade goals and everything. So that's Crimea, and then in the Donbass as well, that's Putin invaded there first to kind of claim it because there's a lot of Russian people there because it's on the border with Russia.
And does he have a lot of supporters there?
Yeah, so they've basically become republics now.
Okay.
So basically they're Russian republics.
Okay.
But Ukraine are like, no, they're still ours. But Putin's going after all of this so that instead of just flooding Ukraine with Russians, Putin's going to use it if he ever comes to like get a ceasefire by saying, well, okay, we'll stop invading, we'll stop fighting if we can have this area here.
Okay. And that's basically is that what they've done now? They're saying they'll stop fighting, but you have to give over all of this land.
I think that's what it's going towards, because otherwise it's just going to keep going and going.
Yeah.
But Russia, by the looks of things, Russia are taking so many casualties that it's not worthwhile.
That's quite surprising, because you look at Russia and you think, oh, they would have possibly one of the biggest armies in the world.
Yeah.
And you look at World War II, how the Nazis moved in, and they nearly did take over the whole country.
Yeah.
But the whole winter thing happened, and that slowed them down. And eventually Russia rebuilt and came back after and pushed them out. But no, I just look at it and I go, seriously, it's the 21st century.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
The world's too complicated now to start invading countries, and things are too high risk.
Yeah, because you look at the 1960s with the whole Cuban Missile Crisis.
Exactly.
And the Soviet era. I just think, look, I understand that he's probably freaking out about the whole NATO side of it, but you can't be destroying countries.
No. I mean, if Ukraine say, yeah, you can have it, Russia need to rebuild it, so they're going to have to pump thousands of rubles into it to get, billions of rubles into it to get it back up and running.
But then, do you believe the stories that apparently Putin's sick? Or do you just think he's old?
I don't even think is he not like mid 50s or 60s or something? Like, he's not even that old.
I'm going to search this up, because I said this. I can't remember who I was talking to, and I said, oh, is Putin not only in his 50s? And they said, no, he's like 70-olds.
There was the footage of him at the table where he's literally gripping onto the table, but I think he was meant to be going off on a bit of time off anyway.
He's 69.
Good age.
Wait.
Great age.
Yeah, I don't know. be pretty mad though if you're dying and you're gonna then just invade a country and
basically leave it for everybody else to clean up.
The worst possible thing to happen is a nuclear war, but
Exactly.
I cannot see any country doing that because
No, he's a sociopath though. Like a couple of years ago, Angela Merkel was in charge of Germany at the time. She was the chancellor, and she was attacked by a dog when she was younger, so she has like scars and stuff from it. So in one of the meetings, Putin has this big like Alsatian thing, so he literally just let it off the lead and just let her walk about the room, knowing that she's terrified of dogs.
you serious?
Yeah, so he's a like narcissist and sociopath and everything. Like
It just messes with your head.
yeah,
Oh,
wild.
that's smart.
Yeah.
It actually is smart. You want to make your opponent.
It's intimidation. It's
Yes,
pure like
yes.
intimidation.
No, I think it is quite sad though. You kind of look at it and you go, right, really? Can we not just have peace?
Exactly.
Because you've had enough war. And one of the things I don't agree with though is, yes, completely support Ukraine, and I do. I support the people there because I think it's an awful thing. But you look at what's happening in other countries around the world where there's wars, and
Well, exactly.
it doesn't really get the status that this war
Because
has.
it's too close to home and it's Russia.
Yeah, I think it's a bit sad that those other countries don't get the recognition.
Exactly. Like how much money has been raised for Ukraine over the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Whereas if you raised that much money for like some of the African countries, you could sort out a lot of problems down there.
Yeah, 100%.
It's the same with the whole COVID thing. If you pumped money like you did into COVID and everything into Africa, you'd sort out a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But Africa's a different story, which we'll have to come on to another day because it's wild.
Yes. And then on to our second piece
Yes.
on the agenda is the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case. Now, I don't know what you've been doing, but I basically watch it every day. Just the highlights or the summary in 45 minutes or whatever of what's happened that day. But it is absolutely hilarious.
It's wild.
She is the biggest liar. Like, people are going to be like, oh, you're just saying that. Honestly, the evidence mounts up.
Yeah.
She is lying. Like, it's so obvious.
Yeah.
It was even her sister. They asked her, and did you see any marks on Miss Heard's face that weekend of Coachella, I think it was?
Yeah. Something
Where
like
she
that.
claimed that she was badly bruised. No, I didn't. Because there were none.
Exactly. The funniest thing though was Johnny Depp's reactions though.
Oh,
like
they
Amber
all
will
great.
say something and he just shakes his head or just starts laughing. And you're like, he just doesn't care anymore. He's just like, right.
Have you
whatever.
seen what he does? He sits and does drawings.
Yeah.
Or he like fiddle with the sweets and stuff. It's quite funny.
I know.
I was surprised when I heard. I wonder why he didn't look at her, but he did tell her that she would never see his eyes again.
It's fair enough though. Like,
But
it's the way, it's the whole like career ending thing. So Johnny Depp's basically been cancelled, but then Amber Heard goes and does another Aquaman movie.
the best part.
It's like, right, how's that fair?
Did you hear the voice recording? And she's like crying. He goes, Aquaman.
Johnny Depp's a legend though. Like,
I love him. Like Pirates of the Caribbean. There was a stat apparently Disney Plus. I think all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, there's been like 2 million extra views
oh yeah,
because of the whole case, and like everybody is going back to watching it because you look on TikTok, there's all these scenes from Pirates of the Caribbean mocking the trial.
yeah,
Basically it was talking about him having a jar of cocaine and then there's that scene, it's like, I've got a jar of dirt.
yeah.
And I went back and watched a few of them, the class movies, and I get that he's obviously everybody has their demons and their problems, but I feel like there has been evidence stacked against her that she has personality disorders, 2 different types of personality disorders. And I remember watching Joe Rogan podcast and he was saying like, she's dangerous. Like, she is dangerous. She's the type of girl that, you know, will ruin you because she's very attractive looking. She can
That's how
entice you in.
in like not. This is where we get into dangerous territory.
Yes.
Just disclaimer, just a trigger warning.
We are neutral.
We are very neutral, but
We're just talking about the evidence.
she comes across as the type of woman who uses her looks and everything to get what she wants.
Yeah.
And
And men do that too.
yeah, and to get out of things.
Yeah.
So it's like the whole cult of celebrity thing with her.
Yeah.
I think she just, like, you'd be surprised how many celebrities have like a personality disorder because that's what they use to get to where they are.
You know what really shocked me though? Remember their whole divorce settlement? She got $7.5 million or $7 million, I think it was.
7, I think.
And she pledged that she would donate 3.5 to the Children's Hospital in LA, and I can't remember where the other half was going. And she was on some talk show, and she said that she had given it. And is it Camille? I can't remember the second name of Johnny Depp's lawyer, but she basically was like, "And you haven't done this?" And she's like, "I pledged it," and she was like, "No,
it's not the same.
Have you given it?" Which you stated that you had. She's like, "No, I haven't been able to facilitate this because Johnny's suing me." And it's like, why? Like, you're trying to win a case here, and there's just more lies that are coming out.
Plus, I reckon, how much does she make per Aquaman? That's probably a minimum percentage of what she's made from Aquaman.
Yeah.
The first one, not including the second one after the whole divorce thing.
Yeah.
So, like, to come out and say that you've pledged it because you're fighting a lawsuit.
Yeah.
It's like, well, doesn't really make sense because you're already a multi-millionaire. If you sold one of your LA homes, I'm sure you'd get 20 million. So, like, why can you not just give it? Wouldn't be that hard.
No, I just hate watching people. You know, sometimes you get also stepping in dangerous territory, but everything has false accusations. That's something I've hated throughout my life.
Yeah.
And people can ruin your life with false accusations.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, probably one of the most dangerous ones is accusing someone falsely of, you know, sexual misconduct or sexual abuse, rape. You know, I look at that and I go, could you imagine that happened to you?
Exactly.
Like, it's scary, the fact that, yes, if you're guilty of it, that's a different story, but could you imagine being on that side where you're being accused of something that you have not done, and it's ruining your life and reputation, and there's nothing you can do really about it? And, you know, fair play to him for standing up and going after her. 150 million.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in law, but if she doesn't have that 150 million, where does it come from?
So it gets to the point where she then has to sell off possessions. So it's the same as being in debt to a bank. They will come out and look around your home and say your TV's worth £500. Yeah.
Oh, what a guy.
It's the exact same. So TV, £500, we'll take that. That's £500 written off. Your car, 20 grand, we'll take that, 20 grand.
That's crazy.
But then if she doesn't have it, then it'll just like default, so she'll just go bankrupt. So she'll basically have to go to your bank and say, look, I can't pay this, I need everything to be underwritten. But then that makes her like stock and everything go way, way, way down.
I always just think of the Office scene. Michael's going,
yeah.
I declare bankruptcy.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, so that's pretty mad.
It's wild.
But I do see if you're gonna accuse someone so harshly of something, you do deserve to risk losing a lot.
Exactly. But there must be something in the back of her mind that is making her, like, that made her say all this anyway. Surely you don't think that you're going to get away with that, because the truth always comes out in the end, no matter what.
It's very bizarre behaviour, but they're both actors, and, you know, maybe he is hiding something, who knows, but he does seem genuinely hurt. Like, I believe him so much more than her.
Yeah.
And it's not because of, you know, public opinion. Like, I did sit and watch it, and there are times I look at her and go, she is genuinely upset,
yeah,
and I feel bad for her, but it's just the evidence is mounting against her. Like, that whole, do you remember was it the makeup pad?
Yeah.
She was saying how she used to use this, and they were like, well, we didn't make this until 2 years later.
Yeah.
Like, the product wasn't even alive.
If you're going to lie about something, at least get the facts right.
Correct.
At least make it believable so that nobody can say, actually, no, that categorically did not happen because XYZ.
But you know what? Her career's ruined after this.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's going to take her on.
No.
So I think
it's going to get to the point where she's going to try to save face, so she's going to try to claw back a bit of her reputation. Because at the minute she's just known as
a liar.
A liar. Yeah.
And there hasn't even been the decision made yet. However,
I mean, whenever the judge is rolling her eyes at some of your answers, that's when you know that you should maybe not go down the road that you're currently halfway down.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see. Is there another week of it? Another 2 weeks before the jury decide?
Definitely another week. I'm not sure if it's another 2. But definitely next week.
Apparently later on, well, obviously they're 5 hours behind, but apparently he's being called up as a witness. So that will be interesting. But yeah.
We'll keep on track of this. We'll actually need to get into a routine of doing these.
My fault, folks. Sorry, it's my fault. I've been flat out. However, got on top of things. I think we're going to do Monday nights from now on because we play football after, so I'm basically free. But yes, on the subject of getting
football.
on top of something.
As somebody falls down the stairs.
Do you think? Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Oh.
Probably they're alright. Yeah. Yes, so on the subject of football and being on top of things, Man City were on top of the league and managed to stay on top of the league for the final day.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this past weekend has been the best weekend of football, even for a neutral, the best weekend of football, Premier League football since the thing began.
Like, my mother came in to watch the last 30 minutes of the Manchester City game.
My mother had no choice but to watch the
she hates football, despises it, but she was getting into it, and as a Man United fan, I will admit I celebrated every time City scored because I despise Liverpool.
Yeah,
I think it's more the fans than the team. I just think they're so... What's the correct word? I don't even know how to describe them. They're just...
I get what you mean, though. Yeah, like if Klopp was manager of Arsenal and built up that team at Arsenal, like nobody, there would be everybody's second team, but because it's Liverpool, like unless you support them,
they've got this reputation for just being... It's like the stone in your shoe.
Yeah.
They're just there and you're like, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
No, so if people haven't watched or somehow have not heard about this, Man City managed to come down from 2 goals down against Aston Villa to win 3-2. Was it 3 goals in 5 minutes?
Yeah.
To secure the Premier League title. They're 6th, I think. Yeah,
4th in 5 years. I think,
but it's their 6th
overall.
of all time. Liverpool did win 3-1. However, they finished a point behind. But it was very tense throughout because Aston Villa or Wolves went 1-0 up.
Yeah.
Then Aston Villa went 1-0 up against City, and then Liverpool managed to claw back to 1-1, and Aston Villa managed to Coutinho of all people.
Had to be.
And they were 2-0 up, and I kind of looked at my dad and thought, we're going to have to bear this. This lot are actually maybe going to win a quadruple. And I think I genuinely would go into hiding for a whole year.
We all know a Liverpool support, like not the same ones, but we all know Liverpool supporters who would get a tattooed in their forehead that they won the quadruple just to prove a point.
Oh, completely. So eventually City managed to claw back. Rodri's goal, the second goal, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, that
was such a good finish. Just the side of the foot outside the box,
just like a pass.
Yeah,
just like he was nailing a 20-yard pass to somebody.
Yeah,
like with no pressure.
And then Gundogan scoring the winner. Brilliant Kevin De Bruyne cross.
He's class.
So yeah, City secured another trophy. Give Liverpool credit, they're an outstanding team. However,
nobody likes them.
Nobody likes them, and glad they did not win.
I think just because they have been so successful over the last couple of years as well, that adds to it. If like they hadn't won anything, and this year they were going to win the league, you could be like, I feel quite bad for them because they've pushed City close, but because they've like won pretty much everything in the last like 3 years, a part of me's like,
apart from the Champions League.
Sure, they won it. Liverpool won the Champions League. Was that last year?
For some reason I was thinking City either. Yeah, true.
Like, they still have a chance to go and get a treble, like a cup treble, which is still very impressive.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen.
I'd like to see Madrid win it just purely for Benzema
and Ancelotti.
If they win it, if they win the Champions League, Ancelotti will get the coach of the year because he won the Spanish league this year, and Benzema will get Ballon d'Or. Calling it now.
Yeah, I think you might be right, but well, yeah, because Benzema's French, so
yeah.
But they'll probably just give it to Mbappe anyway, because he's now basically
the new sporting director of PSG.
Which, Sir Alex Ferguson made that statement: when you let a player become bigger than the manager of a club, you've got problems. And PSG, great team. They're not they call Man United a commercial club. This club's a fashion brand, basically.
I mean, considering Michael Jordan's brand makes helps their kits. And you look at the celebrities that go, like Kendall Jenner's been at the games, David Beckham, he used to play for them obviously, but he still goes whenever he's in Paris. Like, they basically give away free tickets for people that post on social media that you've been at a PSG game.
Yeah,
that's basically what it's become.
But bringing it back to the Premier League, Johnny's happy.
Absolutely.
He's sitting here in his Leeds kit.
Yeah. To be honest, I think, like, my dad will back me up on this, but I've been saying since probably middle of March that Leeds would stay up. Everybody else, like, on social media, anybody I've spoken to are like, oh, you're in trouble. And I'm like, no, we're not. Like, our last 5 games were Brighton, who we got a point against, Brentford, who we got 3 points against, Chelsea, City, Arsenal. Chelsea, City, Arsenal are 3 of the top 5 in the league.
Yeah.
But we weren't going to get any points. It was all down to the last 2 games, and I said to my dad, if we get 4 points out of the last 2 games, we'll be fine, because I couldn't see Burnley winning another game. Newcastle are flying at the minute.
Oh yeah.
And Spurs are, well, they nearly blew it, but they beat them 1-0, but Spurs are an animal at the minute as well.
But they'll be good for another year and then he'll leave, because Conte only really does 2 years.
That's it. They'll win the League Cup or something next year, and that'll get the cobwebs out of their trophy cabinet. Sorry, Paddy, but it's true.
Well, talking about cobwebs, United,
awful. Actually, awful.
I was glad to see the end of it. I was actually talking to a few of my mates in the group chat, because one of them's a big Liverpool fan, so obviously I had to just
stick the boot in.
Yeah, just rile them up for a wee bit.
Absolutely.
And I didn't realise that we had lost 1-0. I thought, they'll probably maybe get it back to 1-0 or win 2-1, and he was laughing, and he was just like, you suck, like, you didn't even realise you lost. And I'm like, yeah, because
stop caring in January, mate.
Generally just stop caring, because it's awful. It's awful to watch. It's the only thing that I watched the highlights for was to see Hannibal Mabry play, because I think he's a quality player.
Yeah,
it's a shame Garnacho didn't get playing, but De Gea made a great point, being like, if those who want out, go.
Exactly. How many do you think are, because they know it's an easy paycheck? Even if they sit on the bench, they're all on over 100,000 a week.
This is the thing. There are going to be those who will just stay for the money, but I think Ten Hag, like you saw it today, from his press conferences, he's scary.
I think if you're going into the United job, you just need to go in and just be brutal. You just need to be like, you're not good enough, you're going, we'll let you stay, but you have a year to prove yourself. You're going. Like, you could probably sit here now and you could probably guess the players quite accurately that he's going to try to get rid of. The problem is you overpay, and you overpay wages, so for somebody else to take it on is like Maguire. Who are you going to sell Maguire to recoup even half of that 80 million?
Well, I think he'll be in his plans next year, which
I wouldn't. He's useless.
I wouldn't either.
You could go down to Avonale or Billy Neal on a Saturday morning and see better footballers than Harry Maguire. Guaranteed.
I really think he's lost confidence. I think that's one major thing. I think that whole thing that happened in Holiday has really knocked him. Ever since then, he hasn't been good. I think he really has lost confidence. He doesn't have. I don't think he has that.
He hasn't got the leadership. There's no leadership about him. To
lead a team that's so big like Man United during a tough period, and he knows that. This is what annoyed me though. He came out and said, "There's obviously a reason why I'm starting every week."
Yeah, because they have shag all else, mate.
Exactly.
Eric Bailly's injured, Varane's injured. You're not going to play an under 21 in the Premier League at centre back.
I had an issue with him coming out and basically saying, "Look at me, I got bought for 80 million, so I must be good. I'm starting most weeks, so I must be good."
Like, no, that's not how it works.
But you're not showing it on the pitch, and
Exactly.
I get that the whole team is pretty bad, but you yourself have made so many mistakes.
Exactly.
So I get that you can say, look, the team's not performing well because it's a team sport at the end of the day, but I
imagine you're Ronaldo, you come back and you walk into this changing room and you're obviously one of the best players to ever play, and your captain is Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
In the words of Roy Keane, do me a favour. Like
completely. No. I think he'll give to Ronaldo next season. I hope he does. Ten Hag gives the captaincy.
Even just for the whole like commercial side of it. To say Ronaldo is the Man United captain.
But he's the captain of his country.
He's won a trophy with his country as captain.
You know, I think you'd be stupid not to give it to him, a guy who's won it all.
Plus his expectations are
through
the roof. So if there's anybody who's going to lead a squad, it's going to be somebody like that, who's going to be in the gym before you every day, who's going to be on the training pitch later than you every day, who's going to be like,
aspires for perfection.
Exactly. Who wants to win. Like, there's no doubt Ronaldo's a big Man United fan.
As I was saying to you before, it was listening to Ten Hag today, and one of the reporters said to him, "So is Ronaldo into your plans for next season?" "Yes." "Why? What can he bring?" And Ten Hag just went, "Probably goals."
Yeah.
And just turned away. And Ten Hag has this, from what I've seen when he's at Ajax, and then, you know, doing his press conferences, and today he was getting asked difficult questions, you know, basically, how are you going to bring this big club back? And he goes, "Oh, you just let me worry about that." And he wasn't giving anything away.
No.
He was like, "I'm going to analyse all this. I'm going to work with all my staff. I'm going to get it right." When he this was brilliant. When he was asked about City and Liverpool, do you admire them? And he goes, "Yes, I do. I admire the work they've done. But an era always comes to an end."
Exactly.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this guy's hungry. And it was the journalist who went, "Do you not think it's a bit daunting that you've put your career on the line here?" And I'm like, how has this man put his career on the line? Like, you've seen what he's done with Ajax.
Exactly.
He's got a very difficult job to do. In some cases, well, I don't know if it's harder than what Klopp did with Liverpool, because Liverpool didn't have as big a financial structure as United do, but it can be done, and I think it does start at the top, and I think they are getting it right with Richard Arnold. He's putting football people in charge of things, and he's developing the youth. The youth program coming through is very good. You've got guys like Garnacho, Hannibal Mabry, James Gardner, Shora Thierry. Like, these guys, they're going to be good.
Yeah.
It's just, you want them to develop well.
Like, Ajax, for those that don't know, Ajax is known for having probably one of the best youth projects, like, in football. Yeah. Ten Hag took Ajax youth players to the Champions League semi-final.
Scary.
Which is ridiculous. Yeah, he brought in a few key players, like older players like Daley Blind, but they were there purely to show leadership. But now you have De Ligt playing for Juventus. Your man playing for Barcelona,
Frankie
De
de Jong,
Jong.
who I really want.
Van de Beek is now going to get a chance at United.
And I think he'll excel. I
Yeah.
think he'll get that confidence
You
back.
look at his highlights from Ajax. Like,
Brilliant.
he's destroying teams like Real Madrid and Dortmund and everything.
You know what's scary? I don't know. Fernandes might get benched.
Controversial opinion here, and you're probably going to be like, no. Fernandes is probably one of the biggest wastes of money United have made.
You think so?
Yeah. I don't think he particularly suits your style of play. United is all about attack, but Fernandes goes back the whole time. He gets in the ball, turns, passes it. Somebody comes near him and breathes on him, he falls over.
Did you see what he
And
did
he
in the Crystal
complains.
Palace game on Sunday? He got the ball from a throw-in and kicked it back without even looking.
Point
and
proven.
Zaha went and scored.
Point proven.
I
He
don't
spends
think,
more time on the floor. He's like Richarlison.
I don't think he's the biggest waste of money, but I think when we got brought in, it was something different. We hadn't seen this type of player. He had that confidence. He kept on going forward and going forward and going forward. And then he just seems like a different player, especially in the second half of this season. He just seems to complain a lot more. Like, I knew he was quite a moan, but this season he just, anytime he goes down, he'll hold his ankle, or he'll start throwing his fists in the air, and you're like, mate, just get on. Like,
He
just
would
get
be
on with the
good at
game.
City. You're going to hate that as well, but he would be good at City.
He would be very good at City.
Because City play to his strengths, where they pass the ball around a bit. It's all about creating space for passes to be played into. Man United are not a team that do that.
But
You look at Ferguson.
yeah,
Ferguson did anything to win a game, whereas Fernandes just slows everything down.
yeah, it was very high paced with Fergie, like down the wings. Whereas now it's kind of,
How much
just
did you
all
How much
slow.
did you spend on Fernandes?
I think it was 48 million altogether, which isn't
Like,
bad.
what?
It's not. I think you bring in Ten Hag, whose style of play is in triangles, quick one touch play, might be able to suit him. You need to sort that midfield out, and I think
Who would you bring in, or what position would you upgrade?
centre defensive midfield. Scott McTominay, I love the
Yeah.
man, not good enough.
No,
Brilliant
bench
guy,
player.
I love him, not good enough.
Yeah.
Fred, I think he's good. I think you want to play him
He's got
higher
better.
up. I think my dad will hate you saying that. My dad does not like Fred. He will not watch a game if Fred is playing. Fact. You play Fred higher up, he can be quite good. But if it was me, realistically, the people I want in is Frankie de Jong, De Ligt. I love Windal, left back. I know these are all Dutch players, but
All
I think-
Ajax as well,
I
mainly,
think,
apart from
they're
Wendell.
good. I don't know about Anthony. Everybody said Anthony on the right. I think we've got enough wingers. I think Rashford, he can come back. I think he's got the quality.
He needs to. This season will
Yeah.
be his last, if not.
I think he can come back. We've got Jadon Sancho. Shame about Mason Greenwood, but we'll not talk about that. I'll bring in Darwin Núñez or maybe Tammy Abraham, possibly.
He's
been
on
doing
fire.
well in
Yeah.
Serie A. That's an option, but if it was me in the centre midfield, I'd really want Frankie de Jong. I really liked Kamara, Boubacar Kamara from Marseille, but he's
Yeah.
gone to Aston Villa.
Villa, yeah.
What's going on there? I was raging when I saw it.
Yeah.
I thought this is a guy who's got quality, but maybe they're targeting someone else.
What about that guy that Madrid are after? Tchouameni from
Took him in. Well, it's
Monaco?
yeah,
Monaco.
it's between him choosing Liverpool or Real Madrid. I think United are out of the question for him.
Yeah.
But there's that guy who plays for Red Bull at Leipzig. He's the centre defensive midfielder from Mali. I can't remember his name.
It's not Samaseku, is it? Or he plays for Hertha Berlin.
I'm not too sure, but he's very good. I watched some highlights of him playing the Bundesliga this season. I think he's good. It's hard to say. There's not a lot of centre defensive midfielders in the market because I think you look at the likes of Busquets. the style of play that the football's moved on, you can't have a guy like Busquets because you need to have someone who can do that and can run. He can't run.
No, the only way you get away with having a Busquets is if everybody else around them is top of their field. Like if, say you went in, say for argument's sake, you went and brought in a 26-year-old Sergio Busquets.
Yeah.
You would be rubbish because he has too much to do.
Yeah.
Busquets' job is to get the ball and to calm things down. If you're in trouble, you knock it back to Busquets, who'll just... It's like taking like a sleeping pill. He just calms everything down.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do that with Fred, he'll probably... he'll probably boot it back to the hair or something. But... I don't know. I think you need... It's hard to say for United because you need a centre-back.
I think, if you want me to be honest, I think we're going to sign Jurgen Timber, who I think's good, and I think we're going to sign Pau Torres. I think we'll get both of them.
Because who do you take out to?
I think he really wants to focus on the defence. Unpopular opinion, Ethan Laird at right back.
Oh.
From what I've seen, he's had a good season. Maybe start Deleu and have him as the backup. I think you give him a shot. What other right backs are you going to buy? Who's available in the market there that you're going to get? Because Wan-Bissaka's out.
No, he's going to get rid of him, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's too... He doesn't offer anything going forward. He's a class defender, but he's a... In the nicest way possible, he's a Crystal Palace defender.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Zaha is a Crystal Palace player. If you put him in Liverpool or Arsenal or Chelsea or United, like, he went to United and went back to Palace, like, the next year because he just couldn't do it. It's like... And
he also, I'm pretty sure he slept with David Moyes' daughter, but we'll say nothing about that.
Here, I've got to play the game.
Unpopular opinion, what about Wan-Bissaka in a centre defensive midfield role? You know,
it would suit him. It's his passing.
It is his passing, isn't it? He can't cross a ball. You need a guy there. He'd be good for his tackling and his pace, but you need a guy
if you had somebody beside him, it would be fine. Like if you had De Jong beside him,
yeah,
it would be fine. But I just don't think.
I like a centre defensive midfielder who's fast, got a bit of height and build on him. I'm just not sure. I like Locatelli. I like Llorente from Atletico Madrid. He can play right back and centre defensive midfield. Now there's an option, a very good option. However, as we saw, Llorente basically fought everybody in the Man United team during the Champions League.
Wouldn't be good.
2 legs this year. So I'm not too sure. There's a few options, but it's hard to say. If you want me to be honest, I think the signings that he'll do is Jurgen Timber, Pau Torres, Darwin Núñez. I think we'll get Frankie de Jong. I generally think we'll get Frankie de Jong, but we're not going to get him and De Ligt in the same season. But I think we'll get De Ligt and Frankie de Jong playing together in that team at some point within the next 3 years.
The only problem I can see with that is that you might get De Jong because Barcelona need money because they're going to blow 70 million on Rafinha, but let's not talk about that.
They're serious.
Yeah, they've been after him since like December.
Is he worth 70? But you'll take it. You'll 100% take it.
Oh yeah, 100%. You need to push him towards that though because he's our best player.
Yeah.
But I think because Chiellini has just left Juventus, De Ligt isn't going to be there.
True.
Stalwart. That's basically. I think whenever they signed De Ligt, they still had Bonucci playing for them, and they still had Chiellini. So now Chiellini's gone. I think De Ligt is now. They're going to try to turn him into Chiellini.
Yeah. So
it wouldn't surprise me if they slap him with a big contract next year or the year before is.
Yeah.
But that's apart from that, I think that's pretty spot on for United transfers. Like, but we'll keep on. We'll do a.
We'll keep you up to date.
We'll do like a roundup of transfers at some point in the summer.
Yeah, there's a few players on the move this season, especially with Erling Haaland and now Mbappe staying. So
that's wild. We'll do a big like transfer roundup at some point. Just before we finish, though, we'll do a few awards.
Oh yes.
So we'll start with Player of the Season.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, 100%. Like, okay, moving on. Manager of the Season.
Would have liked to give it to Sean Dyche, but he
Suckers.
didn't get the chance to do
No.
that. Manager of the season. You're obviously looking at Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp, obviously.
I would go Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe.
I suppose, yes.
Whenever he
That's a
took
great
over
choice.
Newcastle, were 19th,
That's a great
and
choice.
they made they bought three players: Chris Wood, Bruno Guimaraes,
He's been
and
class.
Matt Targett, little left back from Villa, on loan, and they finished top 9th or 12th or something.
No way.
Yeah. Yes, they have Saudi money, but forget that. They invested well, and his style of play is very good.
Yeah, I'll agree with that one, Eddie Howe. But I'd say Eddie Howe or Pep Guardiola.
Yeah. Next up, we'll go. I'll just edit this bit out. So we've done manager, we've done player. What about signing?
Signing of the season. Oh, it pains me to say this. Luis Diaz for Liverpool.
Yeah,
I think he's insane.
Real.
I look at him and I go, sorry, where did he come from?
Yeah.
You know, like, I get he's playing for Porto and stuff, but I never heard of him until they signed him, and he's just a bowler.
Yeah. I mean, like, he's
nifty, he cuts in well, and he's got great skill.
if you were going to build a Brazilian player, you would give it all.
He's probably been better than Neymar this season.
Yeah, don't get me started on Neymar. I can't stand him. But I think Diaz is, without a doubt, signing of the season.
Yeah, 100%. I'd say definitely.
Next, we have overachievers of the year. So what team overachieved or went?
Brentford.
Yeah.
They stayed up and they stayed high on the table.
Yeah, I mean, suckers again. Beat them the last day of the season, stay up. Anyway, I think what they've done this year is prove that you don't need to go out and spend big when you first come up. Like, Leeds went and bought Rafinha and Rodrigo and Llorente and Koch and everything whenever they first got up. But the only investment they have really made this year is Eriksen, and he's probably the best free transfer in the Premier League for
he's been brilliant.
Quite a few years.
And then underachievers.
Well,
I think that is fairly obvious.
Yeah.
In Manchester United.
Yeah.
For the signings of Varane, Ronaldo.
Yeah. After you thumping us, I had to tolerate you on the first day of the season.
I thought we were
thumping
gonna.
us.
I generally thought we were like gonna challenge for the title here.
Yeah.
See, watching that, I know Leeds play very open football with Bielsa, but I thought here we're on to something.
I thought that was the game where you're like, that's a lot of serious here.
But then defensively, it all just went wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Got another team, Everton.
Oh, Everton sucked.
Yeah.
Donny scored his first goal though.
How long? He's been there since January.
Last game of this season.
Yeah, like in a meaningless game where they get thumped anyway.
Yeah.
But I think Everton need to do better next year. But they're just one of those teams that I don't like, especially Lampard.
But yeah, I think that's it. That's everyone. That's all our awards for this year.
Until next year.
Yes, so thank you for listening or bearing with us. This has been the What's Happening podcast, and we'll catch you later.
See you later.